Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to this week's Metaworld news. These are going to be our headlines for the week ending the 13th of October 2019, of course. Now, in fact, it's the headlines for all of October so far,
Yeah.
except that I won't do them all because we weren't here last week for circumstances beyond our control. And basically, it's just two weeks worth of news, and there's far more than we can possibly fit in. So I'm going to be ad-libbing a bit as we go rather than load so many tabs that I crash while we're on air. Okay, let's start off. My name is Mal Burns, by the way. I'm also joined here by James Atlow to be commenting a little bit. He's also controlling all the cameras and screen projections that are sort of allowing us to bring us some souped up version of Avatar talk radio. And yeah, and I am Mal Burns. You can follow me on Twitter, which is where most of my links are at twitter.com/Mal Burns, or one word, MALBURNS. And we have an additional feed, which is twitter.com/Metaworld News, as in this show, again, or one word. And oddly enough, I'm going to start with a few links from the latter feed today, just to get them sort of out the way. That latter feed is more concerned with social virtual worlds and what's happening in them and changes, etc., etc., whereas the main feed is more to do with interfacing tech and VR in a more general sense, if indeed it can be defined these days. Going to the twitter.com/slash MetaWorld News feed, just to get a few things out the way. The first screen I've got up, which James will probably be able to show you in a second, doesn't really tell you much, except what it is, basically. This came in literally about 20 minutes ago. Um, from Roddy Mackey's, saying read this blog. Oddly enough, it says from January the 1st, 2020, so this is kind of a bit of advance notice, really. Um, Apparently, the GCAG, with a great Canadian grid, of course, it's not going anywhere. It's just they're no longer going to be selling land, presumably from January the 1st. And the article goes on about the fact if you already own land there, you'll be able to purchase more land indefinitely. It just appears that new land won't be available. Um, but maybe this has just been put up early so that people will sign up and buy some land so they get the right to buy more land in the future. I don't know. Anyway, but that's the news from Great Canadian Grid there.
Hmm.
Okay. As you can see.
Hmm.
um, right. I'm now lost again. There. Here we are. Hello. Yes. Hypergrid Business, one of our favourite sites, of course, with its big headline now that doesn't even fit on our screen properly. The Halloween Expo starting next Tuesday on Tangle Grid. Now, the Halloween Expo already started. Um, Tuesday. Oh, well, no, sorry. I've got it wrong. It is actually not till this Tuesday, and then it runs through to November, Tuesday, October 15th. It's actually their sixth year of having a Halloween expo. They especially they do have sort of seasonal expos, like home and garden and sci-fi and steampunk, things like that. This one is specifically for Halloween. They do give us a little picture there showing the expo center. And the idea is it's a hypergrid expo. So although it's on Tangle Grid, a lot of vendors and people exhibiting stuff come from all over the hypergrid. There's another little picture there too, and if you see in bold print up at the top there, you can see the login address you need if you're hypergridding over there. You just type in your search box tanglegrid.net colon 8002 colon expo space aisle. And yeah, I guess if you can't remember that, yeah, as long as you remember the Tangle Grid bit, you can do a search for that, and I'm sure if you arrive at the landing point, you can find links to the expo site. Um, there you go. Picture of the voting boards to gawk at. Um, this is the haunted ride. well, I presume inside it's the haunted ride anyway, which is at the expo. And what we got down here? Nice to have pictures, isn't it? Exhibits at Tangle Green Halloween Expo. So yeah, just loads of stuff there. And actually, while I'm at it, I do see the up and coming actually things I mentioned. While I'm at it, I do see. I thought I heard another voice there for a minute. And
I'm
sorry,
hearing a lot of weird sounds on Discord.
how are you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unusual. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like the
it's like
packet's coming out of order.
yeah, like somebody else has clicked on the voice connected dreams out loud. No, it's only
Yep,
you.
yep,
Oh well, let's carry on. Sorry.
yep.
Yeah, up and coming events here. So the as you can see, Halloween Expo, October 15th to November 19th. From the 1st of December, it will be the Winter Expo, which goes on right through to January 13th as well. So all that from Leslie Kling of the charity who runs Jungle Green. If you want more information, Leslie Kling, you can see it there. If I can even highlight it for you
Yeah, yeah,
live on TV, can't I? Except now you can't see it.
yeah. For your social
my
media links, right?
one of my pop-ups, yeah. Leslie Kling at tanglegreen or one word.com. Okay, let's dispose of that one. And it didn't go, did it? Right. Okay. What's going on here? Oh yes. Right. Open simulator again. This is Austin Tate's blog. This has been mentioned elsewhere, but he mentioned it this week too, along with Bill Blight, who's sort of well known in OpenSim. And friends, they've created an OpenSim focused branch of the Firestorm viewer called OpenStorm. Um, this on top, of course, of goo goo goo. Sorry, I've got one here that I oh yeah, the Dayturn viewer I have on the Mac here. I gather it's available on Windows. That's another one that is focused on OpenSim. Unfortunately, they're nothing new. They're just sort of variant viewers for OpenSim. That kind of resemble Linden Labs viewer, and the same with this one, which is it's called OpenStorm, but it's basically a customized version of Firestorm. They do say take care. It's an experimental build intended for experienced users using the OpenSim server development code, and they should be aware that features under development may not be supported by all OpenSim grids, especially those running earlier versions of the OpenSim server code, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, exciting stuff there, of course. It is a fork. You can get the downloads from downloads.openstormviewer.org, and you can get the source code if you want to fiddle yourself. Good luck on that. .openstormviewer.org, and use that. And the folder is Bill Blight, two capital B's in that, but no space. Open Storm LG. Well, I would actually just go Bitbucket or slash Bill Blight, and you'd look out for Open Storm by name on the folder contents there. Okay, let's put that one away and move on here a little bit. What is my next tab? It's one of these weird tabs that's gone invisible. Well, it's not a hypergrid business. Actually, I think it might be Facebook. Okay, okay. Okay, I'm moving back. We're going to be going all over the place today because there's so much stuff here. I'm moving into links again for a while. That's at twitter.com/Malburns, Malbuns. And this is a post from VR Scout, October 12th. It's quite recent, actually. Very recent, in fact, yesterday. Anecdotal, really, but students have developed a virtual reality massage parlor. And guess what it's for? It's to train police on how to identify sex trafficking. This actually is supposed to be quite serious, but you can't help but, have a little snigger. A low cost training solution could assist law enforcement in preventing sex crimes. And it really is about sex trafficking, detecting, I think, people that may have been trafficked and are part of an illegal workforce who are probably working for, one meal a day and a mattress on a dingy floor or something. So it does have a serious thing here. And yeah, there's some of the pictures of what it looks like when done imitating it. Yeah, there's some blind consumer, or maybe it's a developer. I don't know. Playing with it from a distance. Anyway, the police force in where is he? I'm not quite sure. I presume it's anywhere. And okay, the researchers who developed it are in California at the Polytechnic State University. Presumably, the actual application can be used by any old police force that wants it, even if not necessarily in California. Anyway, got to see all the myriad things, of course, that virtuality is being put to these days. Now this one's interesting. I don't really know where this belongs. This is not us, but it's sort of like us. Um, there's a weekly broadcast from Upload VR, and they launched it October 10th, which was a couple of days ago. And I tweeted, and they launched it a couple of days ago. And for ages, got back to me saying, "Weren't we doing all this stuff in Second Life a decade ago?" And if I actually sort of click on this, you can see they're starting again.
Hmm.
I don't actually mind that layout actually, but it is very cartoony. And as well, the commentator said to me when he IM'd me a bit earlier, he was saying, well, this is really, like 1990s cartoon style. Is this Simpsons? That's it. Is that the name of yeah.
The Sims?
No, 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 Simpsons, the cartoon. Yeah,
Oh,
it's more like it's
okay. Yep.
it's more like a sort of cartoon than a it is true. 10 years ago, we had something a bit more realistic in Second Life. But it is nice that they're doing it. And anyway, you can follow this at uploadvr.com/ and then the VR download launch. And
Well, of course, I'm impressed they have the ability to change angles in their recording. We can't do that here.
yeah, I wonder if I think they might be running this offline and using something like Open Broadcaster to keep different shots. It doesn't. They don't really say.
Yeah.
Um, they're going to have a few people there. They did say section four. Yeah, it's the subject wise. The schedule for it sounds rather good. I just maybe we should do this show like
Sure,
that.
sure. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, a plug for them. I won't stick with that. I'm talking over them anyway, aren't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can find the link to that in my feed. Now, we, of course, are in high fidelity at the moment. And as James just pointed out, we don't have quite as good camera control here as we used to have with our own heads up display. Systems
I'm
in
not even going to move the camera to show how bad the control
yeah,
is.
right. Open simulator. So, but it is quite nice here in other ways. Not which my what is supposed to be my multi platform avatar actually does lip sync here, which is the only place he does move his lips. But he's got other problems with his hat and glasses, at least in my view. Anyway, going full circle. Basically, this next link is at medium.com, and it's in a folder called at Phillips Rosedale. And that was the at symbol and then Philip Rosedale. Philip Rosedale, of course, this is actually an article about bringing democracy to currency. So it's kind of not directly was a bit off the beaten track from virtuality, but of course high fidelity here initially at the beginning was interested in blockchain currencies and type currencies and stuff like that, so it's a sort of field of interest for high fidelity themselves. And Philip is writing there about it. It's a long form ish. Well, actually, this one's not particularly long form, but
Hmm.
many of them are, being at Medium, which is where they tend to have long form articles. This one apparently is a 4-minute read, but I just scan it, so it took me 30 seconds. But anyway, I cheat. I don't read. I scan. I am not a human. I mean, I am not. Bye bye.
Robot.
Let's move on. Move on. My screen is shit. I'm getting fed up with this, but I can't. This is what I'm going to go to the other end and work backwards. It's the safe way to do it. October 11th, a couple of days ago here. How social. This is at Forbes, by the way. www.forbes, Forbes.com. How social virtual reality, emphasis on social, of course, will ramp up the music experience. And that's a chap. He doesn't look much avatar to me, but it's in France. He was performing at Accor Hotels Arena in Paris, France. I don't know what that's got to. Okay. The Sensorion Corporation, in partnership with the notable Red Pill VR, I wonder where they got that name
Mm,
from.
mm-hmm.
Red Pill VR. How extraordinary. Must be drug addicts. Sorry.
Or senior
Okay.
citizens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'll go for the blue pill. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. What can I say? It's an interview about the project. The picture of the sensor room there. Somebody playing with their mixing desk and stuff like that. It doesn't really give you much idea of what the virtual platform itself will look like or be like, other than they're chatting about it. But if you're into music in social virtual worlds or VR generally, this is probably a post to look up. So, as I say, that's at Forbes.com. You'll find a link in Twitter.com, Melbourne's feed. All right. Now, virtual reality scientists. Well, why not? I ask. This is supposed to Caltech. I think that's California Institute of Technology.
Sounds right.
Sounds like it should be, doesn't it? So www, of course, dot caltech dot edu. And it must be somewhere near the top because it's in the section called About News. Right. Research are developing prototype VR tools for future generations of investigators. They are, of course, referring to scientific investigators. Um, in recent years, scientists have started to don VR goggles, not for entertainment, but for analyzing and comprehending their data. Well, as far as data analysis is concerned and modeling things in 3D, this is something that's been covered quite often. It's nothing particularly new about it. But as you can see, this is being it's definitely the scientific field that this is being reported in, so to speak. And they've got a few pictures. Open visualization space. This is a open source VR thing. And another one too. I have no idea what these models are supposed to be of. They look like aliens from a computer game, don't they? But
Very organic. Yeah.
I gather they're sort of probably molecules being attacked by cells, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Who knows? I watched this week. I binge watched the Netflix version of Lost in Space.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, they had the most intriguing robot who is I don't who's gone. I don't think he'll be in the next series unless they could find
Oh,
a way
he.
to find him having been
Oh, yes,
ejected
he will.
into.
He'll be back.
Yeah,
Yep.
but you see, he's quite a nifty robot, I must say, because he looked like
He's
a sort.
become something of a sex symbol, Mel.
Has he?
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of internet
Ah.
talk about how sexy that robot was.
Well, he kind of unfolds, but it's not like the alien where it looks like a penis coming out of its mouth or something. It's really like I don't think I don't find anything sexual about it. But it was like, sorry, I'm going off
We're
course here.
rabbit
But
holing
no,
pretty good.
he
Yeah.
didn't. There was something very erotic about the alien in the original
Oh,
Alien
yeah.
movies.
By intention, right?
Yeah, but that was H.R. Geiger's idea. But this robot is, it kind of unfolds, and I suppose it's fairly uniform, but it's just like extra appendages, and I think the only thing is it doesn't have a face. It's just got like a TV, an oval egg-shaped television sort of monitor, and it's got like a star. starscape of twirling stars in it. But when he's angry, they go orange, and you don't want to argue with the guy. But when he's being friendly and helpful, yeah, they're sort of blue. And they're blue for most of the action, but there's a couple of feature things where he loses his temper and they go red. Um, because he's an evil alien robot who blew up the space station and everything else. But then he crash landed, and this kid puts him back together again, and he's so forever grateful to the kid that he becomes a friendly, very helpful robot until somebody else smashes him up, and then an evil person puts him back together again, and he's an evil robot again. Anyway, so much for paraphrasing TV
Our
shows.
household
Let
enjoyed
me
it. We enjoyed it a lot. We thought it was good.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the series. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was very good indeed. Yeah, it's. I was apprehensive because I've got vague memories as a child of the. I guess it was probably black and white, Space Family Robinson
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
an evil Doctor Smith. Except that they never seem to get rid of him, and it's pretty much the same with this one, except she's a woman. And no, yes, it's enjoyable, very enjoyable. It's very well filmed too. Lovely palettes
Mm-hmm.
for the color. A lot of more recent sci-fi and lots of TV series. They've got fairly dark palettes, and nobody seems to quite know how to get a nice richness of variety in the palettes. But this is great. I mean, it's colourful. It's got and in terms of landscape, it's got deserts, it's got pine forests, it's got snow tops on the mountains, and it's just very yeah, it's cool. Anyway, we're here to talk about virtuality, not science fiction television, but it is tempting to go off track, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, a few more examples at this post, of course, and it's quite a long article too, as you can see, with different examples from here, there, and everywhere. So to find out more about this, go to Caltech Edu. That's CalTech.edu, and the article is simply virtuality for scientists. Okay, moving on. Microsoft. Well,
Your favorite.
Microsoft. I mean, they're my second not favourite
Second. Okay.
in
Okay.
because we have the Fastbook
Yeah.
also to consider.
It's lost its
But
place. Yeah.
yes, Microsoft do have a patent application describing a vibrating floor mat for virtuality. The suggestion is that they're thinking along the lines of their Xbox consoles, and you will have a floor mat, and it'd be like I can't remember the name of the things that you use your feet on. There you can see the little sketch showing what apparently is a real person and a couple of other real people who are just watching. And everybody's home theatre set up or whatever, and he's on a mat, and there'll be sensors um, in the mat. So a treadmill, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, I thought
But
you're thinking of the Dance Dance Revolution pads that were out.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I suppose that is good, but I mean that is not really. It's a bit like a headset, really, on its own. I mean, if you get to a wall, you're going to bump into it, aren't you?
Yep.
Unless there's special tracking to prevent that. And it's the same with this mat. If you get to the edge of the mat, you're going to walk off it, and suddenly nothing will be happening, presumably. I don't know. Maybe they'll have a bit of software that turns the virtual world into a wireframe when you get to the edge of the mat or something. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, it's a patent, and it has been filed by Microsoft. And what more can one say, really? If you want to know a bit more about it, you can go to engadget.com, Engadget, to engadget.com. And yeah, Microsoft patent application describes vibrating floor is the title of the article. Great. Moving on. Engadget was still there, same site, engadget.com. Toyota, them who make motor cars and presumably other things too, by the sound of it, they're using virtuality to train robots as in home helpers. So, I mean, this is really talking of science fiction, and I don't know about Lost in Space, but maybe oh, I don't know. Well, it seems to me that for most of my younger life, robots were depicted as home helpers. Every family in every nuclear family had a new addition, which was the household robot who broke things and went the wrong way, and family had to go around fixing it. Well, that's certainly to be expected, isn't it? It's like anything to do with a smart home. It ain't exactly smart. Um, anyway, Toyota is training these robots to be household things, but they actually train them in VR. Um, well, I suppose it means they feed the robot a sort of virtual reality environment for it to learn from, so when it's actually got to tackle the real world environment, it will have some clue as to what it's doing when it's able to have a clue. Anyway, read more about that at engadget.com, just like the previous. Right, more about music. This again is at Forbes, Forbes. Why the music industry is banking on the growth of virtual reality concerts. This is totally different from the other one about the French company earlier. Um, Basically, the idea is the music industry thinks it can bring in higher revenues from the live music industry. Of course, um, a lot of it would depend on quality and also the ability to maintain quality when you're scaling. For the large numbers of people that do when you're seeing. But anyway, they do have things going on at the moment. October the 3rd, there was a rapper called Post Malone, he's going to be streaming a concert from North Carolina into Oculus venues. It would be Oculus, wouldn't it? I know, I know. I'm faking on music and stuff, so obviously, I'd like to see something happen there. There's the software or the Melody VR app is how you access it, and they seem to be working on projects by Kiss, Khalifa, Sean Paul, Five Finger Death Punch, Lewis Capaldi, The Kooks, The Streets, Rudimental, Bullet.
Is that
I know
Madame
what.
A?
No, it's
Oh,
I think it's something in my browser that's reading out something
oh,
to me.
okay.
Okay, Jamiroquai I have heard of,
Mm-hmm.
but also the Who are on that list.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah,
Little
yeah,
band. Yeah.
yeah, a little band called the Who. I
Mm-hmm.
quite like them. So they've been around a
A
while.
while.
Yeah, a little while anyway. Yeah, just 60 Ks, I believe. What they dead yet? You say? Right.
I didn't
Um,
say that.
no, I know you didn't. I'm the viewers. Somebody viewing
Right,
said that.
right.
Right. Tech Republic, www.techrepublic.com. That's TECHREPUBLIC.com. How virtuality creates immersive experience for readers. I think this is. Oh no, there is a link here to a white paper. Um, I think. Oh God, everything popping up. No, I don't want all this stuff in my face. Close, close. No, all of them. Look how many. It's telling me I'm meant to be recording the in-world review and
Right, right.
and it's telling me
Your
20
calendar
times.
just woke up.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Okay, Penguin and Random House using. Yes, exactly. How people read and appreciate books. Author Amina Garber discusses how virtuality is being used with her Zodiac series. Now I can scroll down there. There's quite a lot to be read there, and at the top of the thingy there, there's also a video. Um, interesting. It seems like the pictures have been banned on in the UK, but not the audio.
Hmm.
It would help to. Oh, there we are. Okay, let me get away from these jumping up and down and being noisy. That's what it's not about when I'm on air. Restoring veterans' health through virtuality. Here we go. Forbes yet again. So www.forbes.com, Forbes.com, if you didn't know. And obligatory picture of somebody wearing a helmet or
Hmm.
helmetish thing. And veterans returning home from war zones after serving in combat face a myriad of health concerns. Most of these have to do with pain. And it goes on about that, saying it's not, in many cases, it's not properly treated. There's also post traumatic stress disorder. And basically, they're coming to the conclusion that actually you put people in with PTSD or pain in VR, and it's actually the distraction qualities of VR, the emotion that takes people out of the real world to a great extent, and therefore takes them out of the conscious part of real world pain and stress. Um, uh, in the case of many people, anyway, quite a lot to read in that particular article. Thoughts again. Right, Road to VR, another familiar site, the first one from them this week. Colorado State University has deployed 100 headset VR lamp for biomedical education.
Hmm.
Um, that read funny to me, that title, but basically, if you can tell from the photograph, basically, it's a lab and it's got 100 headsets hanging from wires from the ceiling. So I presume, you get 100 people in there and they all put a headset on and kind of interact together.
The educator
And
in me says somebody got funding.
yeah, exactly. Where did they get the funding? You might well ask. It's all to do with biomedical education.
Yeah.
So when James says the educator in him, it's highly appropriate. This is Colorado State University, of course. Um, 100 students simultaneously. Headsets run custom software, which allows students to visualize life-size virtual cadavers and medical imagery in a shared virtual space. It's part of a new CSU facility called the Health Education Outreach Center, who's the head of schools Department of Biomedical What's its Sciences. Um,
I bet it's a very unique experience. Yeah.
yeah, that looks very interesting. If anybody out there wondering what kind of profession to go and study, maybe biomedicine at a particular university would appeal to you.
Mm.
Um, right, Samsung Odyssey headsets, retractable hooks for the cable management. The headsets run Banana Vision software. Banana
Okay.
Who thinks Banana Vision?
Yeah.
We'll have Apple Vision next. Who knows? Okay, developed in house, blah, blah, blah. They don't say where they got the money to buy the headsets, but I mean, um, you can only ask so many questions, can't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Okay. So that's all good. Check that article out at Road to VR. All one word there. VR is letters, of course. .com. And right, this is another site at Medium, but it's a sub-site. It's actually called 10. So the address is 10, and those are the words, by the way, ONEZERO.medium.com. And the article here talks about a virtual reality view from space could change the world. Um, I've always been fascinated by this. I'm never going to go up and well, I get vertigo anyway. You never would have got me up, albeit. But I was always quite intrigued back in the days of like hippie kind of cliched, I suppose, ideology and stuff like that. It was remarkable, you said people talk about this sort of, you know, broad reach view of things. And one thing was remarkable is how many astronauts coming back to Earth, having orbited the Earth, shared this kind of worldview experience with like the hippie culture.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it just takes you, getting high, quite literally, takes you out of body. And you suddenly realize, you can't even see humans on the planet with such tiny micro insects, only a few of our landmarks are even recognizable from space. How small and insignificant we are. And, come back down to earth and we're all debating and quarreling about things that from that perspective just look out downright silly.
Yep.
Anyway, the idea here is that if you can make a virtual reality experience of the view from space, as a place to hang out almost, can the psychological impact of being removed from the planet be replicated using, a kind of virtual reality technology? So quite fascinating. I mean, we're talking about something a bit more um, limited than just going to some kind of, you know, built space environment in Second Life or OpenSim or Ivadesia or anywhere else for that matter. The idea here is to, you know, see the real world from space, or what little of it you can see from space, if you see what I mean. There's a photograph. Imagine you're in a virtual reality environment, and that's the view outside your window. Except actually, that's a pretty damn low orbit from the look of it. I think you, well, yeah, maybe
What's
they
the
can have a.
International
I
Space
mean, if
Station?
it, yeah, if it's virtual reality too, you don't need to worry about the height of the orbit, do you? Yeah. I don't- oh, I've always got an excuse for everything, haven't I?
Hmm.
There's a lot to read. There's a lot to read in that one. So you want 10.medium.com for more on that. Again, if you can't find the links, just go to Malbones. Sorry, twitter.com/Malbones, Malbons, and you'll find links to all this stuff there. Also, back to uploadvr.com. This is not a TV show this time round. It's an article about VR being studied as therapy for recurring nightmares. Um, it's a synopsis of a paper, really. Um, I don't. It would take a lot of customization. They give an example here of somebody having a nightmares about a shark with sharp teeth closing into them before they jolt them awake, and they wake up and they're having nightmares. And the theory here is that, well, this is where virtuality comes in. The work of Patrick McNara, University Boston School of Medicine. Um, Yeah, they basically get the same thing in virtuality, but they can modify the visuals to make them less frightening. So in virtuality they get a drawing tool to cover up the shark's teeth, or a sizing tool to shrink the mouth down. Uh, I don't think that's going to voice sizing the mouse down. Who knows? It's a bit of an odd thing. This, who knows? But we may find 30 years down the line that this is the one thing VR has excelled at. But I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. So read up and find out what the future may hold. Uploadvr.com/VR dash nightmares is the name of that article. All right. This Right, how virtual reality could put. I don't know what's going on here. Let me reload this if it will reload. Ah, there we are. Don't know where this went. Right, it wasn't Ibergrid Business flashing on me. It was the BBC. Good grief. Okay, BBC.com slash future is the section of the BBC website where you'll find this. And yeah. Okay. Oh my God, I think that was Google talking this time.
Okay. All
I've got
right.
too many talkative machines here. They don't do anything you want
A
when you
house
want
full
them,
of
and then
parrots.
yeah, exactly. Hey Google, read what I'm watching.
Yep. Will do.
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, sorry, it wasn't Google. It was something on my screen. It might have been Siri, or I've got a plug-in that talks websites to me, but it's not on. So never mind. How virtual reality could put us into news stories. News reports often feel remote and irrelevant to our lives, but that will change with immersive journalism that places viewers in the center of the story. Well, there's nothing particularly new about this, to be honest. It's just, and actually, the BBC have been doing
A lot. Yeah.
stuff in this line
A lot of
anyway, and
networks have been doing that. Yep.
yeah, and there's not a great deal here to read. Um, you think they'd include an article about what they're doing? Maybe it's probably all in the video. Um, Let me see. Yeah, you get 4 minutes of video. Oh gosh, golly, pretty video. What's happening here, folks? I go. Oh, that's Nonni de la Pina, isn't it? I think. Recognise the face. Yes. Senior research fellow, University of Southern California, Annenberg School of Journalism, and she's talking about mixing traditional journalism with immersive gaming technology. And yeah, find more about that at the Beeb, bbc.com/future, and then look up the article that's all about virtual reality. Right. I'll tell you what, I don't think this hurts actually. If any of you are watching this show in future and well, no, you shouldn't really be seeing that. Well, yeah, there's nothing. I can't stop you seeing it.
Doesn't matter. There's no password
It
there.
doesn't matter. Technically, I think you can sort of. God, no, I don't
I've
want to.
I've minimized it anyway. It doesn't.
Yeah, well, exactly. Right, okay. Well, I'm now going to try and catch up with some more of it. I don't know how we're doing on time here. Yeah, we got a little bit. Yeah, we haven't been that long yet. Right. I'm actually instead of using my normal thing, I'm actually using Slack. Monday, 30th September. Okay. Um, Since we were last on air, right, Google has used photogrammetry to create a detailed VR tour of the Palace of Versailles. That's very nice. Again, you can find all these on twitter.com/malbones for links. Um, Mixed reality devs need to talk safety now before apologizing later. That was a very interesting article actually because it's cautioning again, it's all about developers, blindly rushing in and inventing things without really thinking them out. Um, my concern, especially, is to do with things like face recognition and stuff. I mean, it's a very good example of the fact that there is not really any legislation saying what can and can't be done. I mean, it's sort of slipping in conventional legislation, but it doesn't really, there's no really, there's no real rule book. The devs just invent something and say, hey, now we can do this too. Or we've got an AI that can do it, although we don't know where the AI works properly yet, because it's sort of smart but not smart, if you know what I'm, sorry, rabbit hole. Right. Augmented reality worlds, implications and opportunities. Right, can't tell you much about that, but the link is in my feed. I have more detail. PGA creates Innovation Award for Research on All My feed. This is a post at IndieWire, which is a news feed. Um, right, something called Garage, described as part video game, part art exhibition, and entirely mesmerizing. Again, the reason I'm not mentioning the sites here is that they're all sort of t.co short links and it's not always sure where we're going. There was a post at Venture Beat in a section called the Dean Beat, saying that consumer VR is making snail-like but steady progress in terms of its picking up. That's consumer VR as opposed to enterprise use. Facebook have launched a virtual network, social network that allows users to create their own world. This is in Tech Times. Not new news there. I think that was still news when we last
Mm-hmm.
had a program.
Yep.
And the Cartoon Network studios are launching something called Journeys VR, which again, I can't remember much about what that was, but everybody's getting into the act. I suppose a Cartoon Network is a rather obvious one, really, isn't it? For if you're thinking avatars or anything. Right, Verizon, who are an American communications company of some sort, they're buying a virtual reality company called Jaunt. Jaunt have been
Mm.
around for at least a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get them on Oculus things, but you can also get them on the desktop, and you used to get them on Google Cardboard. They're more 360 vision type things, if I recall.
Yep.
But anyway, they've been bought up by a big company called Verizon. Um, I have no idea what this thing called inventory is. I will load it and see. Oh yeah, this is back. We're back on Forbes here. AR and
Oh.
VR in the utility sector. Um, yeah, basically it's all about the way VR and AR are being used in the industry utilities particularly. Um, what was that one? Was that one? Ah, so press on another one here. Oh no, this is just taking me to Twitter, which doesn't really help. Again, this is mobile app development transforms the VR landscape. Um, I'm loading these in a right. Moving on to the 1st of October. God, when I could look at my feed this way, I realise how much stuff there is that we never normally cover. Okay, 1st of October. We wouldn't have had this on before either. Virtual World Economy Panel. Um, this was actually at YouTube, and yeah, there you go. You can follow the link there. Um, this was very interesting, if I remember rightly. I can't remember actually where it was recorded. Um, I think it may have been at that. Oculus. Oh yeah, they gathered an incredible cast of lead developers working in VR to discuss how they're doing virtual economics. Boxhead Studios, and doesn't that look cute? That could almost be high fidelity. The guy's hands are a bit wonky. Anyway, this was actually quite an interesting one, if I remember rightly. So you can find that it's actually on YouTube, and it was recorded at something called M3, Virtual World Economy Panel at M3. And oh yeah, I think you should give them a listen. They've only had 100 views by the look of it. It deserves a bit more than that, in my opinion. Right, I'm gonna put it away again though before I get so many tabs here. I don't know whether I'm facing forwards or backwards, quite frankly. Right. Okay. PSD treatment, big impact for veterans. That was at the BBC News. Um, Virtual presence puzzle, 6 degrees of storytelling, episode 5 of something. I'm skimming down these because they really are nearly 2 weeks ago, and we can't possibly cover all these. Uh, a new reality, trade only today. So, oh, sorry. Okay, I'm rapidly learning the folly of opening links where I can't see clearly where they are. Right, Fundamental VR, that is a company. They've expanded VR surgical simulation with some new procedures. There's a report on that somewhere. Facebook Horizon, is this the VR future we signed up for? No. Well, that's my answer. Right. Oh yeah, downtime. I think no. I think DigiWorlds is back up again. They were having downtime for about a week, but that was about a week ago now, so they're probably back up. Um, see, Synthesis Universe is a musical sci-fi experience coming soon to PC virtual reality. Again, you'll find links on my feed. Privacy is hard. A look at the ethical implications of mixed reality. Um, um, you can fly over cities in Paradrop VR's latest attraction. Um, okay, I'm scanning down here very quickly, actually. Down here very quick. Ralph Costa is back. He's planning to launch a new MMO, sort of social virtual world called Playable Worlds. Um, and he's acquired 2.7 million US dollars to get him started, apparently. So Ralph Costa's got a long history with games and things, but he had probably it may even be 10 years ago now. He had what at the time it was a sort of 2.5D virtual world called Metaplace, and there was a lot of talk about it at the time. I think it was back in the day when there wasn't really much around it set for Second Life to compare with, and of course being 2.5D, it didn't really, it looked more like a game, but I think this playable worlds will actually be a proper 3D space, as it were, or space airs. All right. Thoughts on Horizon, Facebook's up and coming social platform. There's been lots of articles about that. Oh, this one's might be kind of interesting, although I think this is very much personal take on it. Virtual reality and trademark patent law. Um, there's an article here which basically has a summary of important things in trademark patent law. The site you want for this is JDSUPRA, in other words, jdsupra.com, and then slash legal news, and then slash and look for the article, the same virtual reality. And yeah, it looks into trademark and look for the same virtual intentions. But very much a personal take, and I think it's not an advert as such, but I think there's pictures in there for the author's, business, should we say? Okay, but nice to know that there are some articles around that are covering that kind of thing. Right, back over to the list. Um, Right. Okay. Some of the no. Oh yeah, Apple have bought a UK company who specialise in visual effects called Well, it's like iCinema, but instead of C, it's got a K. So it's a small I, then a capital K, and then INMEA. As with many things, Apple, nobody. All we know is that they bought the thing. Oh, they've acquired it, to use the proper expression. What exactly they're going to do with it and how it ties in with their plans, nobody, of course, knows. No question they will know until they deal with it, may not do anything with it. Um, a lot of people talk about this Somnium Space Virtual World and their blockchain and bidding for virtual land and stuff. It all seems a bit entangled to me. I mean, if you want to go and buy virtual land somewhere, I mean, do you want to go to a completely new platform? But anyway, it's been an offering for a while, and they detailed, well, October 4th, they actually detailed incoming virtual land offering, and the bidding will be starting soon. And you can find more about that at the VR Focus site. Um, we did Toyota, didn't we? Yeah, moving right down here. Um, yeah, that one's actually over. We have Art and Space, we did. Um, right. While I'm scrolling, James, any thoughts on on what we've had to say so far? But you don't say scroll, James. Thoughts?
Um,
Oh,
yeah, the article about the view from space and
yeah,
having that impact people's perspective is. I still go back to the Oculus Quest app, which is moving around inside the International Space Station, inside and outside. And there's a moment when you start exploring inside the space station, and you go to what's called the cupola, and it's the opening of windows that you look down on the Earth, and I get a small taste, I think, of that very experience of being in space and looking down at the
yeah,
Earth, and just realizing, just giving a different sense of perspective and significance.
yeah. And it's like it's real rather than
You feel it's
yeah,
real because you're in virtual
yeah,
space. I know it's not
yeah,
real, but I'm going to try and move the
yeah.
camera. Wish
But
me
the
luck.
data, the data is, yeah.
Right, right.
Okay, I've got another link open, by the way. This is a site called Leader's Edge.
Hmm.
Leader as in LEADERSEDG.com. The role of virtuality in D&I. VR uses empathy to teach diversity and inclusion. So there you go. That's what D&I is, by the way. And yes, Stanford's virtual human interaction now. Well, basically, it's an interesting article. Um, Leaders Edge, I guess, is presumably it's a magazine for leaders of industry or something like that. So it's bringing a summary to that kind of audience. I shall leave the picture there while I carry on scrolling. Oh, as VR. Let's try that. This is Mozilla again. This isn't Mozilla Hubs. Oh yeah, this was the Oculus OC6 event. Um, VR grows, web will play a key part, say Mozilla. And this is on October 8th, this article. I think there was a similar thing a week or so before. Um, and of course, when it comes to virtual reality on the web or apps or various things like that, many of the obviously whether you're wearing a helmet like an Oculus thing is fairly irrelevant. Though obviously, even things on the web can be enhanced by the helmet as a viewport, so to speak. Um, okay. The latest, okay, so I go on. Oops, another but come on, click. Thank you. Yeah, VR Focus again. Latest on British immersive content goes on display at a Creative XR showcase and market. One for the business here, really. It's 20 companies showing off their wares, and it's taking place in association with BFI Film Festival and Story Futures Academy. And it lists the various things that are being showcased there. I forget okay, well, VR Focus, more on that, vrfocus.com. Wednesday, 9th of October. Yeah, we're getting a bit more up to date here. 9th of October was last Wednesday, wasn't it? I think. Right, moving on. Is extended reality the future of digital advertising? Question asked there. Again, I'm not sure where it was asked. Multi-camera film technology heralds awesome VR advance. Right, this is Forbes again. Extended reality, the future of digital advertising. Presumably, they want, the advertising industry wants to reinvigorate the concept of a pop-up book, but using VR instead. Um, yep, that's the digital advertising one, isn't it? Yeah. So I need to put these away before I get completely mixed up. Right. News. Okay. Or this is the Augmented World Expo. This is the European one, which will be happening this coming week. In Munich, Germany. So if anybody listening here is in Munich, Germany and wants to hop along to this, I don't know whether they charge you to get in. But it's lots of talks and stuff about augmented reality, but they do include a lot of virtuality sort of stuff too. Um, very, very large amounts of stuff going on there. So again, you some stuff to focus .com. Tissue doesn't seem to be in any of this. She used to be Tara in Second Life way back when we did quite a lot of stuff with her, and then she moved and she founded but I think she's now working for that tech company that the American president doesn't like. Anyway, can't remember what it's called, or let alone how to pronounce it. Right, restoring veterans' health. I think we did that earlier, didn't we?
Hmm.
Um, right now, we're very fond of a site called Voices of the Free. Right now, always a podcast, and this week was no exception. All I'm going to say is check out voicesofvr.com and have a look at all the podcasts they've got available from the last week or two. There are just too many for me to mention, but I'm sure at least one of them will probably catch your fancy. A lot of them these days are becoming more specialized. For example, do you want to listen to an hour-long podcast about, VR and biology? Well, you probably do if you're into biology, but whether you want to, if you're not, is kind of another matter. But it's an amazing resource, and the Kent Bye, I think it is, isn't it? The guy who hosts it all is obviously a mine of information because he's quite capable of doing interviews with people from here, there, and everywhere. And the only real connection is VR, AR, the progressing technology. It's not like he's interviewing lots of people all on OpenSim or all on high fidelity or something. It's all over the place really. It's a very good series. So as I say, I'm not going to go into all of those, but I do notice from my summaries here that there are a massive load of them came out on Friday, 11th of October, which, well, that was just this last Friday. Many of them, in fact, were actually recorded at that same OC6 Oculus event. That doesn't mean they're all about Oculus. They just happen to have been recorded by him at that event. Um, right, now, there's a company called HoloRide. Um, and I guess this is more augmented reality, of course, than virtual reality. But wow, it's happened again. I'm in the wrong place. I keep hitting the Twitter link. Right, okay. This is an in-car VR experience. Now, actually, to me, it doesn't actually look much different from an out-of-car headset. But presumably, there must be one redeeming feature of this, and that is that if you're in the car, you can't walk around and walk into walls. So presumably, this is some kind of system to give you virtual reality experience that is suitable for somebody sitting down. Um, I don't know. They both seem to be holding one controller, an identical controller. So whether this is more like the Go, Oculus Go, or anyway, it's called Hollow Rider. So VR is coming everywhere. So it has to come to cars too, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think I would imagine
Uh,
that the car is the motion simulator, and if the view that you're doing is tracking geographically along with the car movement, then you'd feel like you're riding in a car.
Okay, well, I think you're right there. Exciting new take on backseat passenger entertainment. Taking advantage of the physical effects caused by
Mm-hmm.
a moving
Mm-hmm.
vehicle, including sudden changes in speed, HoloRide is able to enhance the immersion of VR games and experiences. For example, when the car speeds up in real life, so does your in-game vehicle. If you're in one, presumably you just run faster if you're not. If it turns right, so will your character. These levels are generated based on which routes are being taken as well as the total duration of the trip. Okay, so basically they're going to make entertainment software that is dependent on the car itself as the navigational device, if you see what I mean. No, that's good. I must admit, obviously, the old 360 cinema, the cinema on your head, big screen, what would obviously work in the back of a car too. So, yeah, the picture still needs a helmet, but again, you're not going to have to worry too much about bumping into lampposts on that one, are you?
As long as you have a
Turning
good
vehicle,
driver.
yeah, turning vehicles. Here we go. Again, fast forward. Oh fuck! Excuse my language. I thought I'd fast forward. I wasn't quite expecting that. Here we go. Okay, well, nobody told me the car was going to be a dragon. Okay, I'm hooked. Eat your heart out, Game of Thrones. I'm not going to be the dragon in a car. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that. No, that that does look rather good. Now we've got into it, so to speak. Right. As you probably noticed, jumping forward at high volume made me jump out of my seat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let me see. Right. I think we're. Oh yeah. Several adverts for high fidelity at the moment. Actually, this one. Oh, they go on Twitter, but oh, just say video calls suck. Meet here instead. meet here. Ah, oh, something's taking its while to load. Uh, this is a video that YouTube that Hyperdosi put up. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's a pop-up. I can't move it. Sorry, I can't show you that. It's a pop-up that wouldn't move. Okay, actually, most times I've loaded this, the video is shown up in the half screen, and you can request access to Hyperdosi. But interesting that at the bottom here there's another pop-up which has got a live messenger from somebody at Hyperdosi. So if you want to know if you want help getting a co-working space, somebody will talk to you in the little pop-up window. I am personally with you to talk you all in the little pop-up window. I am with you for people that aren't quite sure what they're getting into. And they did have another one. I went into the. No, there was another one along that line. Um, okay, well, I've clearly missed a few here because there's been an awful lot to catch up on. But I think um, that is my browser front page, of course. I'm also going to say before we wrap this bit, I'm going to stay in Slack. I have a new channel here that I created, which is full of just vaguely things of interest. And Tuesday, the 1st of October, I'll start there. That was about the right time. Um, oh, yeah, the Virtual World Economy panel at M3 I actually covered anyway. Um, not entirely sure what this is, another YouTube one. Um, DJ Soto. Right, I'm not sure where we are on this one. Oh, VR Church. Unbelievable. I think that might be a religious virtual world. Well, at least they got legs. Right, right. Facebook Horizon feature we signed up for. This video looking at that. Oh yeah, Gunter's Universe. This is another um, regular YouTube thing. Haven't been so many of these recently. Gunter's Universe. Gunter S. Thompson is the name of the YouTube channel. And this again, Metaverse Roundtable Discussion is what it was called, and it's about 90 minutes worth. Um, I'm already you two remember where I was, so I'm 90 minutes in there. Um, Again, we were looking at that other thing earlier and thinking, how James was saying, oh, he's got camera movement. Yeah, again, this is very much sort of gamey sort of avatars. I think this is in VR chat. Um, they don't actually say directly, but I think it is. So Gunter's Universe. There you are. Metaverse Roundtable discussion, and that was posted on October the 1st. And oh, right now I had not come across this before. Oh god, I hope it's not going to crash my browser. No, it's okay. Um, I'm actually quite a big fan of this site. It's called issue.com, ISSUU. And they've been traditionally, mostly from Second Life, a lot of sort of glossy magazines done for the kind of avatar audience, as it were. And Issue houses them, and you can view them full screen, or you can view them in an embed thing. And this is the first one I've seen that's actually devoted to the hypergrid, just called Hypergrid Zone. It's all in big print and nothing to really talk home about at the moment, but various people writing about it. Obviously, if you've watched this full size, it's all in 14-point type or something. Um, but there, I'm just flipping basically through it. If I blew it out to full screen, you'd only see a quarter, so it wouldn't really help you. I've gone spiral silver stars, fractal art and stuff. So a nice little start. as it were. Um, we sadly no longer have the one that Sunbeam used to be involved with, which was only ever usable in world. In fact, what's this one? Is this an Avatar one? Um, ah, I think it may be Avatars, but it's the wrong thing. Anyway, this is I can't show you easily. My hang on, I'm going to just move our frame for a minute. This is the site basically, and you can just pop in and follow links to things here. But if you want, you can sign up and not only upload your own PDFs, which they convert to flip magazines, but you can also subscribe to magazines and stuff like that, and your homepage will then show you all the latest issues of the things you subscribe to. Anyway, for the moment, that was it. Again, follow the link on which one is this, by the way? Oh well, yeah. Um, Look for Hypergrid Zone magazine when you get to issue. You just type it in the search box there. I think you'll find there's a link to it in the Metaworld feed. The magazine, by the way, is also based, for the sake of information, on digiworlds.com, although it's obviously it's open sim wide magazine. Um, Hamlet Hall, who's a virtual cast, it's a social VR for streamers with avatar room customization. Actually, let's open that one very quickly. Um, there we are. Get there in the end. Here we are. Um, this is the official trailer. いつものご飯、いつもの部屋、いつもの夜。Hang on. Okay, well, this isn't in English, which doesn't help. I don't think there's much point in having English. It's a social VR app, which you'll find on Steam. It's from a Japanese company, but comes with rudimentary and inadvertently comical English localization. Right. And it comes with avatar room customization, etc., etc. So, combination of virtual world and streaming kind of thing. Anyway, that's from Hamlet Or at New World Notes, which is nwn.blogs.com, if you want to find out more. Um, right, there's getting started with Sansar. No, I don't think we need to watch that. Um, oh yeah, more YouTube. Um, this is from VR Focus's site, I think. Yeah, VR Focus's account. Um, this is 5.5 minutes interview with Mozilla Hubs. Basically, it's the guys doing my Mozilla thing, but they're also mentioning Oculus, of course, because it was at that thing. Ah, this was. Oh no, I did the Halloween Expo. Did on Tangle Grid. Um, this one came in today from somewhere or other, and was recommended. Although I forget who recommended it. It recommended Ted Lester, and this chap Alex Rule is a filmmaker, and she's talking about existing beyond your reality. Um, she's an award-winning virtual reality filmmaker and founder of Cats That Are Not Peas. Of course they're not. Anyway, a production studio that specializes in creating immersive experiences that impact people's lives, um, including kind of virtuality stuff. So she created the Experience VR initiative in partnership with Leicester Charities, some so, and she's working on enhancing the well-being and quality of life of hospice patients using nearing end of life using mindful virtual reality experiences. Um, so anyway, you can of course go to YouTube and watch her, and I'll show you the subtitle there: "Existing Beyond Reality," and the publisher is TEDx Talks, basically, if you want to look that way. But you should be able to get it through one of my channels as a link to. Um, these, as I say, I actually had sort of indexed as talking points, but obviously this week we haven't, got incredible time for talking. Um, oh yeah, a final one in the talking points was something that came in today. This is a businessinsider.com, something that came into inward.com. And it's sort of about fashion, but not. Um, these are about some clothes that have been designed, some outlandish clothes, I guess, to trick facial recognition software into thinking you're not human. And it's quite interesting. I mean, I don't know how much these things kind of cost, but they've got examples of like this one is somebody they're wearing a mask over their hoodie and things. I don't know whether you really call that a fashion statement or not, but apparently the shape and the contours and the molding of that mean that no camera can work out what the hell you look like. So, on the other hand, if you've got it on and you're looking, it doesn't affect your vision at all. Looking outwards, it only affects the ability of a facial recognition software to actually detect your face. And yeah, there's lots about this Dutch designer who's got a wearable face projector. So uh, you could this is talk about fashion item. You can imagine walking down the street and using the face projector to display somebody else down the street, pretending to be walking down the street, and all the facial recognition software will be saying, "Hey, Zuckerberg is in the road," or something like that. Anyway, and another one, a Japanese professor has designed goggles, and they've got LEDs in them that also do the same thing of thwarting facial recognition. Look a bit sci-fi, those ones, but I imagine as a fashion item, there'll be a few people who think that was rather cool. Um, an artist who uses makeup and styling sorry, he can give you makeup and styling tips so that your face will be unrecognizable to AI, and some more regular kind of stuff. So I thought that's just kind of interesting trend there. Instead of moaning about facial recognition, do everything you can to thwart it. Use fashion to turn yourself into something else. I suppose the ultimate example of this has always been the hoodies. The people that wear the hoodies and always seem to be looking down at the street instead of in front of them because the angle is such that nobody can see their face. Bit sitting down at the street instead of to the house. If you're in the wrong neighbourhood, you think, God, it looks a bit suspicious hiding his face from you. Anyway, that is that. And I think on that note, we're all done finally, James.
Okay, done tricking the cameraman.
What? Yeah, 1.25 hours today. That wasn't too bad. We got through quite a lot. And a few experiments there en route. So, any other thoughts apart from drifting in space?
No, no, not at
That was
all.
a good one, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think you've heard enough of my thoughts while I was reading them all out. I managed to escape the rabbit hole this week, didn't I? Oh, except for Lost in Space, but that was a mutual interest point. Right. Okay. Well, I hope you got a grip on all that. We will hopefully be back same time, same place next week with only an hour's worth of news to catch up on, which makes life an awful lot simpler, really. And yeah. Um, a quick plug to Dr. Fran Babok, or yeah, well, her region, Franny, here in High Fidelity is where we've been parking ourselves quite a lot recently. to do this show. And if you're around, if you're watching this live, or no, when this is, if you're around at, I think it's 1 p. Yeah, no, 2 p.m. Pacific time. In this region, Franny, she does actually have a weekly kind of forum chat session, on miscellaneous topics, which is very interesting too, right in this very venue. I'm not sure she herself is around this week, but I imagine the meet will probably happen anyway. So that's well worth attending if you like, in world discussions and stuff. So yeah, I think we're all there. Oh, I see. Oh, so yeah, there's a Bugs Bunny character appeared very briefly. Right. Okay. So until then, basically, it's goodbye from him. This bloke right next to me.
All
Yeah.
right, right. And I'll say it's goodbye from him as well. If I can get this
Yeah.
camera in the right location. I'm just gonna move it
I,
around crazy like a brand
I'm
new person. It's
I'm
such a
I'm
pain.
spinning I'm spinning mine around here, actually just
Yeah.
holding the option key and spinning because I thought I saw somebody else to the side of my shoulder, and lo and behold, there was somebody briefly. Yeah, they're gone now. Okay, yeah. So anyway, from the two of us, it's goodbye for this week, and we will see you this time next week, I hope. So bye for now, and have a good one.